Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the Look Finance SEQFC preview show. Thanks to Vilic Law. Last night, obviously, we had the FQPL show tonight, splitting it up for the finals post-season. We've got the NPL semi-final show tonight. As always, I've got Tony joining me. Tony, how are you, mate?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, great. And luckily, this might be possibly the two best guests we've had at one time. Darren, Sime, obviously yourself, head coach of Lions FC. How are you, mate?
Doing well, thank you. Certainly the most attractive. Yes, hey, Poric.
Hey, for balaclavas, mate, we're doing well.
Absolutely. And of course, we've got Adam Poric from Gold Coast Knights. How are you, mate?
I'm good, buddy. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Obviously, this weekend, only two games, but two very important games. Both of you gentlemen are involved. We might start, obviously, with the earlier game. Darren, I believe you're travelling up to Redcliffe to AJ Kelly Park for 6:30 on Saturday against Power. You excited? You prepared? You ready?
As we'll ever be, I suppose. Yeah, we obviously had a run out last week against Peninsula Power. Didn't take too much from the game, to be fair. We went into it. I've been in the position before where being part of a season where it just kind of peters out, and we're certainly not. I'm certainly not prepared to let that happen this year. So, I see my job is to obviously go out and try and win games, but also to challenge the players as well. So we could have probably gone there and just gone with the normal system that we use and rolled it out and just gone through the motions. And, but I felt it was a good opportunity just to test a few of the boys. So we mixed it up a bit and, it went down 3-0, but I certainly got a lot more out of it in regards to, potentially what we can try and look at maybe next season or, the remainder games in the finals. So it was a good exercise. Obviously not the result we wanted, but, there's still some positives I took out of it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. How have you found, obviously, your first full year as NPL coach for Lions? Obviously, Warren moving on and possibly taking a few people with him. You would have had your restructure that you would have worked with. Have you found it quite well? Obviously, the club's done quite well again this year.
Yeah. No, it's when I took over, the decision I had to make was, do we start bringing in new players, or do we, do you stick with what we've got? I made the decision quickly that these boys had put themselves in a good position in regards to try and win the treble. So I didn't want to take that away from them. So, we got everyone on board as quickly as possible to maintain some stability. Throughout the year, obviously, it was a little bit disrupted, but it was disrupted for everyone. No one was immune to injuries and those sorts of things. So we're no different from anyone else. So overall, I'm pretty happy with, where the season's gone. Obviously got some work to do between now and the end of the season. But, by and large, we had to kind of adapt as well. We played a couple of different formations, asked players to play at a position, challenge them in ways as well. So certainly as a squad, I'm really, really happy with this season. I would like to things have gone a little bit different in regards to the league, but key moments throughout the year, as Poric will tell you, you can break down the season into key moments and key moments in some games when it didn't go our way. So, but overall, no, I'm pretty happy with how things have gone.
Yeah, I mean, you must be pretty confident. I mean, having a look, I did a bit of research with Power. Obviously, they took out the premiership earlier, but they've only had 4 defeats this year. 3 of them actually coming from the other 3 semi-finalists. So they've only lost to Knights, Lions, Olympic, and East, oddly enough. I mean, both in yours and Adam's opinion, do you guys think really this final series could be anyone's?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I suppose that's the hallmark of all final series. It's about momentum, I suppose. Things going your way on the day. I look at the top 4 teams, and I suppose what I've really wanted over the last few years was that closeness, that that consistency. And I think certainly when you're playing the top 4 teams, or the other top 3 teams for us anyway, it could go anyway. And I love those games. It could go, I'd rather that, and the boys have to be up for it and on top of their game, because they know if they make one mistake, they're going to be punished. So I've really enjoyed the battles that we've had over the season with the top teams, for sure.
Oh, especially you look at the last 2 years. No surprise that the top 4 have been the same 4 clubs 2 years in a row. Just jumbled up a little. Obviously, pretty good showing for the strength of the league over the past few years. I mean, having a look through, both you gentlemen have pretty strong strike forces. I was having a look. Obviously, the partnership up front. Darren, yourself, you got Joey as well as Geordie up front. They've got, I think, 28 goals between them. Adam, yourself, obviously, I think Harrison and Jace, they've got 30 goals between them. I think they're the 2 most deadly strike forces. Do you think they're going to obviously play a big impact, or do you think teams are more likely to sit off?
You want to say that, Simon?
Hey, wait, bro.
Look, I think Harrison Sawyer's probably come into his own. Like when it was probably a bit hard done by when he first came in. He had a torrid 8 weeks. He hadn't played in 3-4 months. He had some personal issues as well. He probably wasn't fit enough. He got thrown into the deep end, into a team that was struggling just on the back end of COVID, and when we came back out of it, we weren't fit enough. So we were in all sorts. And then to get thrown in as well and expect to score, and he couldn't do it, and he was just unlucky. Like I watched one game, Moreton Bay, and it hit one from about 2 yards, and the guy put his heel out, and it hit the back of his heel and went out. And usually you just smash them in, there's no problems. But that was the kind of luck that he was having at that time. And then he scores against Kapalaba, we win 3-1, and then he's just gone from strength to strength there. So we've done a lot of work with him. We've got his confidence back up, and now he doesn't look like he can't score. The ball comes in the box, and it's he's really going to get there. So, and then on the other coin, you've got Jason now, who hasn't scored in the last 3 or 4 games. Where he could even come up, and you're talking about those 2 players there who have scored 30 goals, but you're looking at Max Brown, who scored 15 as well. So we're not just got 2 players that are scoring; we've got 3 players that are on fire at the moment. That could really be damaging to anyone's team. Sometimes you found out when they were 1-0 up with about 8 minutes to go. So we're not out of it by a long way. We'd had 2 bad results. Power, we played with 10 men for a long time and really had them under the rack. My first game in charge, we had 1 sent off as well. We didn't go into a defensive mode. We went straight into offensive. So, look, I think that strike force that you're talking about on both sides there, they're going to be hard to deal with, and most of them are coming into form. I know our boys are really coming into form at the right time.
Tony, you've been a bit quiet. I know earlier in the year, I think when Power took on Olympic obviously came through from with some points from up at the Peninsula. What are your thoughts on this game for Darren on the weekend? How do you think that's going to shape up?
I know my friends at Redcliffe are going to strangle me, but I reckon out of the 4 teams in running, I would have loved to play Power.
Why is that, Tony? Elaborate.
I watched them play Olympic twice, and they should have got tailed up twice. They won the first game 1-0, and that was the game that Monday got sent off, and they scored from that free kick. And Olympic could have beaten them with 10 men. Olympic tailed them up there a few weeks back. I watched Gold Coast Knights play them a few weeks ago. I think they had a bloke sent off early as well, Adam, didn't you?
Yeah, probably.
Could have got something out of that game as well. I don't know. I reckon Simes is in good position to get through.
I think you played to come fourth.
He boxed it last week.
Joking.
Hey? He got beat by Olympic the week before and then dogged it last week.
He looked at the results. He went, I'll chuck these next 2. I'll be straight in there. He's driving a Ferrari around these days.
You know what? I told you.
Might keep those conversations for another forum, boys. Obviously, the other game this weekend we've got, Adam, we might put you under the spotlight and draw attention to yourself. It's Sunday. You travel to Goodwin Park against Olympic. Obviously, a great crowd. this previous weekend, City not able to secure the win they needed to stay up with this new system in terms of relegation and going for more games won in consideration to what we had with goals in previous years. How do you feel about the atmosphere? Do you think it's going to be a big pressure for the boys coming through? Obviously, this is a grand final replay from last year.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be great. I think it's a great advert for the game. You know, you get two teams, big crowds in behind them. Last year, there was a massive crowd for the grand final. You know, we've played Olympic now 2 seasons, and I think we've done well every single time. You know, we beat them at home in the first round. We were 1-1 in the round that I took over in, and we could have been 2-0 at half time. We could have shut the shop up then. Look, I think Olympic were an absolute massive role, and they've probably been the most formed side from coming back from COVID, so you can't take that away from them. But I'm looking at my side compared to theirs, and I'm not fearing going there at all. You know, I'm actually looking forward to going there and winning. You know, we're not looking at going, look, we're going into the cauldron of fire there, and then, you know, we're going to be hanging on for dear life. I dare say that we'll be putting them right under the pump.
Yeah, do you think you have the attack force? Obviously, Olympic have the best defence in the competition on paper, only conceding 21 goals this year. Is it just going to be full on attack, or are you going to try and hold pressure and see if you can find a crack in the armour to get through?
Oh, look, I'll tell you that I'll sit back and I'll just take pressure and pressure and pressure. But, you know, I don't think Benny's going to believe that for a second. He's seen how we're unpredictable now. We're not the same as we were at the start of the season. We're very different. We've got different formations. You know, we can adapt. You know, we're quicker, we're faster, we're stronger. So, you know, it's going to be a game that's going to be won by scoring goals. You're not going to win by sitting back and defending. You're going to have to go forward at one point in time. They've got a beautiful pitch. It suits us. It's big. You know, it's where we can get the ball moving. You know, it's a great atmosphere. You know, I think it's going to be a great advert for the game. Whoever wins, you know, I really do believe it's going to be a fantastic game.
Absolutely. Darren, for yourself being a spectator for this game, at least this week, you'll have an idea what you're doing next weekend. Who would you hope to take on out of Olympic and Knights if you do go through?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I have no preference. They're both solid teams. They're both really, really good teams. You know, for me, it's the team that adapts quickly. You know, it doesn't get flustered, sticks to their game plan, settles early, that you know, will go on and win the game. For me, it could be either. It really could be. You know, we played, you know, the Knights a few weeks ago up at their place. You know, I thought we played really well. Thought we'd contained them. I thought we did enough, but obviously the quality was there in that last couple of minutes. You know, we obviously played Olympic, went down at home a few weeks ago. They're a good side. There's no doubt. You know, they've got an understanding. I think they've obviously looked at the blueprint of successful teams over the last few years and modified their program. And they're experiencing the success. You know, they're a nice team to watch. You know, we went down 3-0, but I was enjoying watching them play at times. But in saying that, you know, we're Lions. We don't fear anyone in regards to whoever we'll get over. You know, this weekend obviously is a massive hurdle, but we're certainly going out there to play our way, and whoever we come up against in the final, if we progress, then once again we'll play our way. So, you know, it's going to be a battle of ideals. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. There's no doubt.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the luxury of this competition. The top 4 clubs at the moment, they're not there for filling in numbers. And, you know, it's one of the incredible things about the competition. You know, you even have a look throughout outside of the top 4, there's plenty of competitive teams in there. I know Raw Youth were sitting on everyone's coattails for at least 2/3 of the season until the back end. Even some other clubs with late surges, you know, put plenty of pressure on.
But East, you know, just singling. I don't want to sing out a team, but East were fantastic at times through the year. You know, some of the way they played, you know, you just sit back and think, oh, mate, you know, some really attractive, purposeful football. So, you know, it was some good teams out there. There's no doubt. It was a lot closer than years gone by, which is, I suppose, as a coach, that's what you want.
Absolutely. And Adam, obviously that question I asked previously to Darren, what are your thoughts? Who would you like to take on between Peninsula and Lions if you could pick someone to go through to play against next week?
Well, just on my own personal, it'd probably be Power because they knocked us over. I think that we've got a grind, to pick with them. But also I've got a great friendship with Johnny Wall, so I'd like to really rub it into his face as well. So that'd be more than anything else. But look, you play the best team. At the end of the day, Lions or Power, whichever way they go. People look at it and everyone's saying, "Oh, Power's the weakest of the four," but they won the league. So I don't believe that they're weak at all. I think Johnny's been banging that drum all year that we're the weakest of the four, but the weakest of the four doesn't win the league. They win the league because they're the strongest of the four. They were very consistent all the way through. They won probably 8 games in the 94th minute. So it's a big effort. And those boys up there, they're not sitting there going, we're the weakest of the four, that's for sure. So at the end of the day, whoever you play into the grand final, it's a strong side. This year's competition, like you said, had results going a couple of different ways. We would have been playing for the top spot right until the last week. We had a bad game against Moreton Bay. We could have scored 10. We didn't. We ended up losing 4-2. That would have taken us to within 1 point of winning the league.
Absolutely. Tony, as the middleman between these other two gents, what's your thoughts? Who do you think's going to go through to play next weekend?
My heart says.
Light, by the way.
Don't put him on the spot.
My heart says Olympic Lions, but your heart doesn't always win because I don't know. I think the Knights will stick it to Olympic. They're not going to give them the space that a lot of other teams do. And see what happens. Olympic defensively is solid, apart from when they turned off the engines on Sunday in Cup 3. But it'll be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to it. Just going to extra time, Adam, so I can have more beers, mate.
I've got a dinner date with my wife, so I've got to be finished by the time the game's over.
I got to say, the one thing at Olympic you could get quickly last Sunday was a beer, Tony. That's the only thing I could get in line and still be able to watch the game and get back in time for.
I don't think I've seen a crowd that big at Olympic in years.
I think obviously, Adam, for yourself, you're going to be able to be part of this atmosphere. And Tony, obviously, we were both there when the first NPL final happened between City and Olympic. And I got a bit of deja vu standing there, especially as City put a couple of goals in. So it's good atmosphere, and it kind of feels as if the world was going a little bit back to normal for a moment.
It will go back to normal. There's no social distancing or anything like that. So don't worry about that. We'll just get in close and tight and we'll go for it.
Absolutely. I guess that might be the way. Tony, I might put you on the spot and see if you want to repeat on camera what you were asking Adam about 2021, if you're willing to put forward to him and pry into him.
Well, the question was to Adam, who will be the NPL coach at Gold Coast Knights in 2021? Obviously, there's talk around. There's rumours all around Brisbane. We just would like an answer from Mr. Adam and see what he says.
Darren Simes.
We know that's not correct. He'll never. Hey, you need cranes to move him out of there.
They're going to get rid of that lion statue and they're going to put him and his dad up there.
Yeah, it won't be long.
Yeah, it's an impressive line, isn't it?
It is. Look, at the end of the day, Gold Coast Knights, as I said off camera, I won't repeat it on. But look, we'll have the manager, no doubt. Someone will pop up. If it's somebody that we bring in that's going to follow the pathway as we want as the club to run, then that'll be that person when they're ready to come in. If not, then I'll still be around.
Okay, is it a current NPL coach?
Listen, if you're asking about Benny, you want me to say it on camera or what?
You can say whatever you want, Adam. I'm easy, man.
I want Benny to enjoy his week. I want him to enjoy this season. He needs to finish off, and I wouldn't do that to him, to anyone, to Darren, to any other manager. Playing for grand finals, semi-finals, let him get through that.
Okay.
Darren, I think there's a little bit less pressure on yourself.
There you go.
But what are you looking forward to 2021? Do you have a couple of recruits on mind after this season, or is it business as usual? Do you think you'll keep most of the squad again?
It's yeah. I suppose, like I said earlier, it was a squad that I felt deserved the opportunity to go for the treble. Obviously, we've lost a couple to the Raw. Not sure if Nathan Reardon's going to run around again. I'm sure the referees will be.
For my sake, please convince him. As soon as I see him coming up to halfway, ready to come on, that's the highlight of the game. They don't make him like him anymore.
No, he's certainly old school, and we love him for it. There's no doubt about it. He's one of those players that every coach on his team, but despises if he's on the other team. Then in regards to the squad, we're starting to sit down and talk to the boys. We started last week. Looking to retain as many as possible, but obviously looking to add. It's the squad's not an aging squad. But Poric will tell you, you get a feeling in regards to trying to freshen things up a little bit. So, there's not going to be wholesale changes whatsoever, but we're certainly looking around to see how we can add and, replace the irreplaceable in Danny Kim and Josh Brindle-South. So, yeah, bit of a challenge there, but, we're confident of adding to the squad for sure.
I might put one last question to both of you gentlemen. Adam, I'll start with yourself. Does it excite you for the club to have an under-23s competition next year? Does that give you plenty more depth? Obviously, on the weekend against Capalaba, you played quite a few of the young blokes. Does that show a lot of promise for you and maybe a bit more, I guess, more physical or quicker game time for the younger players that you look to transition into the top team in the upcoming years?
Yeah, look, I think the under-23s is not too bad. I think there'll be a young 23s. We've made a conscious decision at NICE, that we want to have our 18s will be young, our 23s will be young, and you're trying to push those young players and give them time to mature to get into a first team. The likes of Mitch Nichols, Max Brown, Roman Hoffman. If you're trying to get young kids in to replace those guys, Mitch is 31. Max is 26, 27, and Hoffy's 24, 25. So they're going to have to bide their time. And unfortunately, we've got kids and we've got a generation of kids that are 16 turning 27. I think they're first-team players. They couldn't lace these guys' boots. So, the reality of where some of these players are, and these a good hard look at. And from the days when Darren and I used to kick around out there, when dinosaurs were moving around with us, I even look at it now and think some of these guys couldn't even played in that game.
Darren, how about yourself? What's your thoughts on the under-23s coming through next year? Does that give you a bit more flexibility in the squad, or do you think it may be a detriment to the game?
Listen, I still think it's challenges for sure. I think of some of the boys that have left, at 21, 22, with the allure, I suppose, playing first team football somewhere else. There's certainly going to be challenges in trying to persuade a lot of these boys to stay the course because, just nature of the structure, the teams out there, that these boys can walk into a first team and in NPL as well as, NPL and BPL as well. And get paid.
100%. Sorry, Daz, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but you hit the nail on the head. A lot of it now is about money. How much am I going to get paid? It's, and I think Daz would probably have the same up at Lions. The first thing they ask is how much am I going to get paid? It's like, well, what have you done?
Yeah, we made a call. Obviously, all the trolling process at the moment. So for our 18 squad, we didn't have open trials. We're going to select from it now. Our current 18, we look to promote the decent 18s. So we're the same nights in regard. We've got to reward your own and look after your own. We made an investment. Was it good enough at 16? How can we turn around? You're not good enough at 18. Good enough at 23. I mean, we haven't done our job as a club. We haven't developed them. So I think it's increasingly important clubs to keep it in-house, to promote from within, look to reward loyalty. Certainly that's what we're doing here at Lions, because, it's getting even more challenging to keep players and retain. If we want to reward that and make players feel connected and part of something bigger, hopefully that does the job, because we're all looking forward to what they can do potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I think credit to both of the clubs, of course. I think it's a good thing seeing the progression of some of the younger players through, and I know it might have been missed a little bit this year in terms of the structure, and I'm not sure how the point system went, but it's always great when you see these young players coming through the development ranks and caring about their football and caring about their club. It's getting, unfortunately, less and less common.
Well, I think the biggest issue that we're going to have moving forward is the money that they're throwing around from Sydney and Melbourne. It's very hard to hang on to some of your players when they're throwing absolute bucket loads of money at these players. And I just sit there thinking, where are they getting the money from? First and foremost, you're talking about a hell of a lot of money. And people say that the Knights are spending crazy money as well. I was expecting you to ask me that question, who we're looking for, and I was just going to say that, we've got Ronaldo on speed dial at the moment, so looking to bring him in for next season so we can sell a few more shirts. But we need to have a look at the whole process. The kids that are coming through, are they willing to wait? And like as Sime said there, you've got a 20-year-old. He'll go to QPL, or he'll even go back to local league because he'll pick up $50, $100, $200 to go and play down there. Now, is that benefiting him in the long run? Not a hope in hell. But in the short term, it's great. You get an extra $200, $100 for his beer money on the weekend. So, I think that's the biggest issue that we're going to have in our game moving forward.
Tony, you're pretty understanding of the leagues down south, and I know you got some good connections in Melbourne. Where does the money come from? If you could give us a quick idea.
Well, Gates, and I'm talking, and say hypothetically Heidelberg play South Melbourne. That would get 1,500 to 2,000 people there. They charge $15 a head to get in. There's a lot more, the crowds are a lot bigger there. Their sponsorship money is a lot better there. And there's a lot more derbies, obviously the ethnic backing. I mean, the Melbourne Knights, South Melbourne, another one. So it's all about the crowds and the gates.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully on that note, 2021, we can be responsible, get a few punters through, and maybe that might stimulate our game, and we can show them how to actually invest the money.
Well, I don't know how many of these kids are going to take off and go to Melbourne. I'm hearing once they open up again, I reckon there'll be a heap going.
Back to Melbourne? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I can tell you that, our imports from Melbourne will be going back.
I had a coach from an NPL club in Melbourne ring me looking for 4 phone numbers. Yeah.
And is it these two gentlemen on the call they're trying to get, Tony, or?
No, it's players. This gentleman on the call up very well off, mate. Don't worry about them.
All good. On this, boys, I might wrap up. I'll ask from both of you, obviously, one name. Who do you think in your games will be the danger man that obviously will make a difference on the match day coming up on the weekend? Darren, who do you think in your game will make a difference?
I think Henry Hall for me. He's hit a bit of purple. Quality young man, quality young player. We all love how he goes about his business. Got a nice positive attitude, willing to take players on. So for us, I think Henry. Certainly for them, I like Strickland. I like the way he goes about his business. He's a dangerous player, comfortable on the ball, drifts in between the lines. He's had, anywhere. So, those two for me.
Fantastic. Obviously, Darren, your game, your team Lions come up against Power Upper Peninsula. That's at 6:30 on Saturday. Adam, same question to yourself. Let's go. Darren gave us a bit more than we liked, which is fantastic. Who are the two men do you think are going to make a difference in your game on the weekend?
Josh Langdon has been in outstanding form. If he's not the best keeper in the league at the moment, I don't know who is. So I think Joshy would definitely be one. Harrison Sawyer the second, and probably Mitch Nichols is the third.
Fantastic. I think some pretty consistent players for the Knights team there. Once again, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for your time. Darren, thank you. Adam, thank you. Tony, thank you.
No problem. Good luck, gents.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Daz, good luck.
Yeah, same, mate. All the best.
Good luck for the weekend, guys. Thank you once again for joining us for the Look Finance SEQFC preview show with thanks to Vilic Law. We'll see you next week.
No problem. See you guys.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Never.